This is Shabbos Chafhei. We're talking about certain things in Ha'aretz. A person who is not an expert in halacha is believed in regarding kedusha and kaddish things. Hilchais Kodesh, the laws of Kodesh, Ditnan, like we learned in the Mishnah. Im Amar, if he said Tifrashti B'Soicha Revius Kodesh, that I separated inside a certain barrel or Revius, that's going to be Kodesh. So Neman, so he's believed in the whole entire barrel. In other words, if he's believed that a certain amount of there is Hegdish, he's also believed that the rest of the barrel, the proper types were taken from. Chatos, he's believed that this is a kosher chatos offering that's or designated for a chatos. That none, because we learned Hakol Nam Chatos. Everyone is believed for a chatos. Hechsheros, regarding susceptibility to tumah. That none, we learned in the Mishnah. V'alkul and all them Ha'aretz ne'amanim loymar taharos hen. Ha'aretz believed that they are tahar. So loitzroicha delav. The Mishnah should not have said, but rather. Now we're talking about, back to the Mishnah, about the three things that a person should say before Shabbos is ready. Shouldn't he say the order? And remember, the three things were, did we do the proper tithes? Did we light Neiros? And did we make an Erev? And the Gemara is now going to say what order should have been. Hadlik was a Ner, is Sasre and Ve'avartem. Shouldn't have been, did we light the Ner? Didn't we take the tithes and didn't we make the Erev? Then we're going from the Deraisa. We're going from the Deraisa of Hadlakas Neiros, not necessarily to light the Neiros, but you can't light the Neiros after it got dark, then to taking tithes and then to making Erev. So Amar Rav Chia, Bar Rav Chia, says Mutar Sha'ata Machmir Lov Mikabel Afu Machmir Al Atzmoi B'Chamura. If you're going to say that the Mekel one, you even be Machmir, you're saying it first to be Machmir, then a person's going to be also Machmir on the Machmir ones. So we go in level of Machamura. If he's saying it first, then clearly he thinks that it's more Chamar, and therefore, of course, the last one will be more Chamar. I think, practically speaking, the Mishnah made sense, because what do you have time for on Erev Shabbos? Hadlakas Neiros should be the last thing a person does on Erev Shabbos. Yes, certain things should be done Ben Hashemashos like we learn, but technically everything should be done before Hadlakas Neiros. Hadlakas Neiros should be, Hadlakas Neiros is done, it's Shabbos. Therefore, you come in and you say, these are the things that we have to do before Shabbos. Did we take our Meiser? Did we make our Erev? And did we light Neiros? And that's what we're going to do last. So it's an order of things that you're going to do. Rab Chagai says, Rab Shmuel Bar Yitzchak have a Makbed Goy Baisa. Rab Shmuel Bar Yitzchak would instruct his household. Avarten, you make an Erev, look us on there, you make sure to light the lamp. Why didn't he say anything about taking Meiser? Anything he wanted to eat, he bought from the shuk. Presumably he'd buy it from the shuk. Either he would tithe it right away when he bought it from the shuk, or he bought it from people who were reliable and they knew that they already took Meiser, so therefore Meiser was not an issue in his household. A farmer takes his own produce, that has to take Meiser. A person gets it from wholesale, or a person gets it from a situation where not necessarily Meiser was taken. Meisers we taken. Some people don't do it right away. It should be done right away when it's brought to the house. Some people don't. It's stockpiles. You got to rectify it before you eat it. That's what the Mishnah was talking about. Safek hashecha, safek hashecha. So now it's a safek if it's dark or not dark. So it's bein hashmashos. Meiser Rabbi Eliezer. There's a Meiser with Rabbi Eliezer. So Haya guy says Erev Shabbos im chashecha, who was enthroned to death on Erev Shabbos. V'nichnas Harkinas b'nai, and Harkinas his son, Achal is his son, and want to take on son. So Amalai Rabbi Eliezer says to him, B'ni, my son, Hinach the mitzvahs haner, you neglect the mitzvahs of the ner, shehu Shabbos, that could lead to a rabbinic prohibition of moving books on Shabbos. The chayv kares, and it could also be chayv krisis if you end up lighting after it got dark. Ubasol lachala, it's tefillin she'inoi elo rishos, and you think of a tefillin that wearing in Shabbos is only a rishos. Ve'ina elo mitzvah, and taking it up before Shabbos is only a mitzvah, or a rabbanon mitzvah taking it up before Shabbos. So yatzoloi, v'yatzoi kamer, Rabbi Eliezer's son Hyrcanus went out and was crying. Oili sheniftera daita shel abba. Woe is me that my father's mind is confused. Daitihi Shniftera. It is your mind that's confused, Rabbi Eliezer says. Daitihi Loy Niftera. My mind is not confused. Kevan Troy Tamidav Shiva Davar Shel Chama. When his Tamidim heard that his mind was still sharp, so they came in to ask him questions. And they would say, Lahen as a Tomei Tomei, you'd say, what on Tomei's Tomei, Vial Tar Tar, and what else? What it was Tahar, he said it was Tahar. Amar Tar, he said the word Tahar, he was passing on one item. Vinisalka, the Shumasai, and his Neshama departed. Amra, they said, Nika Rebbe Shu Tar, therefore Rebbe is Tar, he left on the word Tar, he's Tar. What's interesting is that the Bavli has similar Meiser and calls him Rebbe Eliezer, not Eliezer. Although there is another person, Eliezer, mentioned in the Yerushalmi. So the question is this Eliezer, Rabbi Eliezer, or is it Rabbi Eliezer? Maybe the Bavli confused the two, or maybe they are the same. Tzarchi. Rabmana remarked, Viad Kedoy Nikar, and this is how you recognize, because he was passing Shilas and he said Tar. Of course, we know that Rabbi Eliezer was a big tzaddik, was Tar. So Nichnas Rabbi Yeshua v'chalat estzila. Rabbi Yeshua went in after he passed away, after Rabbi Eliezer passed away, v'haya migafva umenashkai, and he was hugging and kissing him. Uvoicha Imer, and crying, he said, Rebbe hutar neder, they were mater neder. The Rebbe Rechev Yisrael Ufarasha, Rebbe the chariot of Israel and his horsemen. So mater neder, that might be referring to the case of Rabbi Eliezer, and it could be this Gemara is going from the fact that it went from Rabbi Eliezer in the first story is now talking about Rabbi Eliezer in the second story. Or again, could be the same person, or it could be the Balvi is getting confused, Tzarchim. But the Matan Neder possible was because Rabbi Eliezer was put in Chayrim in a famous Maisa where he did not agree with the Rabbanon, and therefore his Talmidim had to sit 4 Amos away, and that he was saying that there were Mater Neder on him, and that he's no longer in Chayrim, and other people could visit him. In the part about the chariot, so that part he's saying that was very similar to what Elisha said about Eliyahu, that he said, you have accomplished more than the chariot and the horsemen. So the similar said on Rebbe Eliezer. Let's continue. Vein matbilin the Esakalim, and you cannot be toivel kalim because you're rectifying them on Shabbos, and you can't do that. So masnisa bekalim gedolim. We learned about big kalim. Avol ktalim ktanim, but ktalim ktanim ma'arim aleihem v'atlim. You may resort to subterfuge. You could trick yourself, and you could end up making them toivel by how? You bring them to a place to be toivel, and you say, oh, I am just going to fill them up with water. You scoop it underneath, make sure it's all touched by water, then you pick it up. Oh, not only do I have water in it, but now it is toivel. Tani Rabbi Hashia Tona Brisa, Mimalihu Adam Bechli Tame Min Habar. A person may fill a Tame Kli from a bar, from a well. Umarim, and he could make subterfuge alav umatavlai and make it toivel, which by the way proves you only need to dip something to be toiveled once, because you dip it and boom, it's toiveled. Tani, it was taught in a brisa. Nafal delay l'soich habar. If one's bucket fell into a bar, nafal kelev zech habar, or his kelim fell into a bar, his utensils, his vessels. Ma'arim aleihem atavlim. You could make subterfuge, and you could say, oh, I'm just going to retrieve them. Oh, well, now they're toivel. Train Ayman. 2 Amarim like this. Chad Amar, one says B'kelim shenitmtu ba'avatuma. This is even to one that's avatuma. Bechorna Amar. Another one says B'kelim shenitmtu bivladatuma. Only with a derived tuma. Masiv man damar bivlad hatuma lemanda amar ba'avatuma. So the one who said that the derived tuma asked the one who said the avatuma, so hi shemesh, but does require that the sun has to go down. An avatuma a keli has to get toiveled, and then it can't be used till the sun goes down. So Amarle, so we said to him, no, b'raitze l'shtamish behen chulin b'tahara. No, you can eat chulin, which is regular unkadosh foods, as long as they're in a state of tahara. You can eat it with a new keli that even was an avatama that now had a tvul yoim that the sun did not go down yet. Rav Yirmiyav, Rav Zera, B'Shem, Rav Chia, Barashi said, Isha pikachas mi dicha kaiskan. A clever woman who wants to clean her house will rinse her cup here, ka'arakan, her bowl there, tachmuyakan, and her tureen over there, v'nimsa maretes as beis of Shabbos, and therefore, with subterfuge, she now cleaned her entire house on Shabbos. So she washes here, lets the water spill, washes here, lets the water spill, washes here, lets the water spill, wipes it up, now your house is clean, all with subterfuge. Again, it's not subterfuge to Hashem. It's subterfuging yourself. You're confusing yourself of what actually you're doing. And by not having the express intent to do the malacha, but your express intent was on a constructive task that is allowed, the mela, it ends up doing things that might be considered a malacha, but the bottom line is, since it didn't do the man malacha, and what you did was allowed, therefore it's mutter. Aval masrin asadmai, or food that was suffix mice taken from it. Rabbi Yosef b'shem Ravu, Rabbi Yosef b'shem Ravu, Rabbi Chizkiah b'shem Rav Yudah ben Pazi. Demai, when it's demai, the whole term, it's domai. What is this? In other words, what is this? Was it misakin? Was it not misakin? I don't know why the Gemara said that. We have a whole term masechta called demai, and that masechta, the masechta tells you what demai is. So why did he have to tell you now what demai is? And by the way, Masechtas Demai came before Shabbos. So if you learn Shas in order, you already knew this is what Demai was. All right. Well, it repeats it here. It tells you, for those who are only interested in Mayid, or who jump on board by Mayid, by the way, you know what Demai is? It's Domai. There we go. Now you know. Umarvin v'toimin esachamin. And one may make an Erev and insulate hot water. Some Rav Chia Barashi says, Hada Tamar be'eruve chatzeres. This is regarding Yeruv Chatzeres, which is only Midrabanan. Al Yeruv Tachumin, the Davar Tairahain, since an Erev Tchumin of trying to mix Tchumin, you're trying to say that you could leave the city more than the regular Tchum, 2,000 Amis, so then that is from the Torah, and that you cannot do, Bein HaShmoshes, that has to be done before Hadlakas Neiris. Hadlach Mabalikin, Hadlach. We return to you, Parak Mabalikin, we return to you. Now this is Perek Gimel, and we are on Daf Chav Hei Amud Beis, and we are on Halacha Aleph. Kira shehis kuha bikash oy begavava, a kira stove, which is a stove that has the heat inside and the dome on top, and it's heated with straw or with stubble. Noisnin aleha tapshel, one may put cooked food upon it, but gefas eitzim, whether it's mark, which is dried out foliage or dried out from fruits and vegetables and made into a flammable material, or oibeitzim with wood, lo yitani, not place cooked food upon it, ad she'groif, until he shovels away the coals, oy ad shitin esa'if, or he covers the coals. Because in a situation where it's heated something with coals, we're afraid you're going to stoke the coals. Beishami says, what you could put on is hot water, but you cannot put cooked food, or food that's cooking actually. Rizal says, chamin v'tafshil, both hot water's getting hot, and tafshil, cooking food. Now clearly you cannot put that on Shabbos. You can't cook food on Shabbos, but you can put food, Erev Shabbos, before it gets dark, onto such a stove that's cooking or that is cooked. B'Shamai says, "Noitin alav loy machzirim." You may remove it on Shabbos, but you cannot return it. And we sell leimerin af machzir. You can also return it on Shabbos. Now, if you return on Shabbos, it probably has to be food that is fully cooked. But therefore, we're going to see, because it might be talking about water, and I'm talking about food that has moisture in it, and that actually could benefit from more cooking. So kira sheskua, a kira that one heated. So Kaini Masnisa. The Mishnah means like this: Mekayme aleha tavshel. We may keep cooked food on a kira that is fueled from before Shabbos. Masnisa Rabbi Yehuda. There's a Mishnah according to Rabbi Yehuda. The Tanya we learned in a brisa. So how you stay kira masimais? You have twin kiras, twin kira ovens. Achas grufa v'kuma v'achas lo grufa v'kuma. One was shoveled and banked, the other one was not shoveled and banked. Mekaymin al grufa v'yala kutma, and we may keep food on the one that was shoveled and banked. Man mekaymin aleha, and what will we keep on the one that's shoveled and banked? Beishamay Imrin ein mekaymin elaklum. You can't really keep anything on it, even though it's shoveled and banked. But Beisal Imrin still says chamin avaloi tafshil, hot water but not cooked food. Ever es ha mecham. Want to remove the kettle on by Shabbos. Hakol moedim shloyachs. Everyone agrees you cannot return it to there. Divra Meir, Tzuruz Rameir. Rabbi Yehuda says, Beishamai Imrin Chamin Avaloi Tavshel. Beishamai says you could keep hot water but not cooked food. Or Beisel Imrim Chamin V'Tavshel. Both hot water and cooked food. Let's just finish this. Bryce, again, not to return it, but to keep it there for Shabbos, so long as it's banked and covered. Now, ha'evir es amecham, one removed the kettle. Beishamai Imrem lo yachser. Beishamai says he would not return it. Beisil Imrem yachser, to one again that is either the coals removed and banked.